Welcome back to another intense, exciting episode of the Game Changers on our television. Today's game changer is a real game changer. We'd won more than 30 gold medals for Sri Lanka, 30 international gold medals to Sri Lanka, and he owns the record of the Asian Powerlifting Championship. Welcome to the show, Ransilu, jayathilake.
I had it. Okay.
So, how is life treating you these days?
Well, actually, I had a bit of a break after the Asian World Championships. So, a bit of 2 weeks of break to upgrade myself with studies and to be with my family and back on track for the Commonwealth.
All right,
Yeah.
okay. Were you born to lift or you accidentally got into lifting?
Well, I think I'm born because my dad is a power lifter, he was a weightlifter.
Right.
From the childhood, it was a sporting environment all around my house.
Okay.
You get to see dumbbells everywhere, you get to see balls, so yeah, I was born.
Is a place now you are as an international champion, was the place that you were dreaming to be always? Or you had different ambitions? Like when we were in school, we have different ambitions. First thing that you raise your hand and say is that I want to be a doctor or rather an engineer.
Yeah.
What was your background then?
Well, yeah, actually, there's a good story. In our main hall, at the first day, we had a welcome. So at the
Let's
corner,
talk about about your school life before you come to that.
Oh yeah, I studied at Kingswood College, Kandy. So we had a very good sporting environment there. At the grade 1, I think we had a welcome ceremony at the main hall. And when my dad took turn, there was in the last corner there was a column for the international medalists. There were only 3 names. Okay. So my main ambition was to get there. So yeah, I think I have done it. And when everyone wants to be a doctor and engineer, myself I wanted to raise my flag for my country flag at the Olympics. Unfortunately not yet, but probably yeah, someday.
That's really interesting to listen to. And what's your thought on sports on that perspective? A lot of parents want their children to be a doctor or engineer, but in your perspective, you as a sportsman who is excelling in sports and who has conquered almost the international arena. So what is your thought and message to all these parents out there that education is not only education should be there definitely,
yeah,
but sports also could help. What's your thought on this statement?
Well, I think the education is a must, but if you're an athlete, I think you have to go with the sport education. No point if you're an athlete, no point to be being engineer. But I'm not saying that if you are an engineer, you can't do a sport. But more specifically, I think Sri Lankan sport education must come up to a standard. As if you can get into more sports. Sports psychology, there are references of sports management, sports science. I think you have a better chance. I think even the sportsmen these days doing pretty well in the society.
Yeah, let's come to that in the last segment about sports and how it is in Sri Lanka at the moment. But when you look at the international arena, countries like New Zealand, you yourself a rugby trainer. Yeah. So there, from the very beginning, from kindergarten level, they are sent to schools with a background. If they want to be a sportsman, they are sent to colleges. Yeah. Let's say rugby, they are sent into rugby schools to mold themselves. All their food, their environment are molded that way. You think it will take a lot of time to get that system into Sri Lanka?
Oh well, yeah. Instead of the school, I used to use the academy. There are a lot of sports academies around the world. Even in India, you can find a lot of from the age of 4 or 5. They adapting their children for the Olympics or whatever the standards. First, they do their biochemistry test. So they do their body testing, and most of them get to know that when at that level he can end up, either he can be a Commonwealth champion or Olympic champion. I think in Sri Lanka we need more science and particular things.
How good were you in balancing your sports and education back then in school? Basically, the days at your school,
Well, probably I have to mention that with the current education in Sri Lanka, it's really hard to do a professional sport. not in Sri Lanka, because you have to rush for tuitions. At the school, it was like good 6 to 8 hours, and I think the current education not helping a professional athlete. But luckily, I got into my university and managed to get the degree in business management.
All right, that's interesting. Basically, let's. How did all these start up? Like you said that you had dumbbells all around your house, but there should be some way to. You said that you saw the board at school to get there. However, but there should be sheer dedication and devotion. How did all these begin back when you were little Ransilu jayathilake?
Well, to be honest, I didn't want to do weightlifting at all at the beginning. I wanted to be a rugby player.
Okay.
But at one certain point, I broke my finger, and my dad restricted me going and playing rugby.
Okay.
So that's how it started. But gradually, I started getting to powerlifting and weightlifting. So yeah, so it was much commitment, and I had to dedicate myself for that.
You directly went to the gym and started lifting, or how did it start?
Actually, my dad had a gym, like he owned a gym in Kandy.
Okay.
So obviously, I was going there in the evening. But at the beginning, I was not a big fan of. I allowed to play, lift weights. I like to be there, but my main target was to be a rugby player.
All right. What was the story starting off with a broomstick at the very beginning?
Well, yeah. So soon as my dad, if this my mom tells me this story, like soon as he comes back home after training, I used to get his lifting kits on.
Okay.
And putting it on and start lifting with the broomstick.
All right. So that's how it all began back then.
Yeah.
So what is your most unforgettable day in your life?
Well, even that is definitely, as an athlete, it should be a weightlifting related thing.
Yeah.
I think winning the Commonwealth medal is my biggest achievement and the most unforgettable thing.
The Commonwealth medal.
Yeah.
Talk about that. How interesting was it to meet all the international athletes there?
Well, it happened when I was age of 17. The best thing was all the sports were there, like athletics,
At the age of
badminton.
17?
Yeah, this is Commonwealth Youth Games.
No one from Sri Lanka was there?
Yeah, this is a good story. Like even the athletic, badminton, it was it, but luckily I'm the only one to get the visa. So I had to travel
So you went all alone? No coach?
Yeah.
No coach, all alone?
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
that's
so I went there, I went all alone, and I stayed in an apartment. There were like 6 rooms all alone. Like, then yeah.
You
for
brought
me,
down the gold medal?
I won the gold medal back in 2004. And that's the very first medal for Sri Lanka in Commonwealth Youth Games.
Wow, that's and you have, as I said, he's a real game changer who won the first junior Commonwealth gold medal to Sri Lanka. And also, we should ask this from you as a champion. What was your biggest defeat, and how did you come up through that?
Well, back in 2011, I take it as the defeat of my life as well. So in 2011, there was this random doping test going on. So at this doping test, myself and another lifter got positive. So we got a ban of 2 years. It was that's the hardest time of my life. But I was building myself, and soon after I got back, I broke my record. I straight away went to the Singapore Open and won a medal. So these 2 years, it was like a dream in my life.
Yeah. How does this doping work? Like there's some categories, right?
Yeah.
Does it only come through the supplements you take, or how does it work?
No, there are stimulants and the steroids as well.
Okay.
So what we took was a stimulant, which you find in a lot of fat burners and a lot of energy drinks. Even now, in current market also you can find this stuff. So yeah.
What is your message to all the athletes out there watching you talking on the Game Changers about this, which is like really like highly people in Sri Lanka look into it a lot now, like when it comes to rugby or weightlifting, they test it a lot. What is your message to them to stay away from these? Like
the best thing is to go to the sports medicine center and get it checked, and like you can, whatever you do, no matter how big your carry is, within 1 second everything go off. Like for me also the same thing. Even I have been tested 11th time, and on this it happened on the 12th time. I have undergone with 11 doping tests, and the 12th time I got positive. But in Sri Lanka, the people look in a weird way, and you will lose everything.
Yeah, the image will be spoiled
yeah,
in
yeah, what-
overnight.
yeah.
Yeah. So your message is to go to the Department of Sports and
Yeah.
get it checked.
And best thing is to stay away from all these. As an athlete, I recommend. There was a phase on my life I was all depending on the supplements, but
Okay.
now with the maturity, I think supplement is not a must.
Supplement is not a must.
Must.
But when you look at the international sporting arena, there are a lot of people who get supplements in the sense whey proteins also include.
Yeah.
You say that without those you can exist.
I'm not saying that you have to at a certain level to take everything.
Okay.
Proteins, creatine, but I think mostly the fat burners and energy drinks you have to stay away from them, especially the energy drinks.
All right, okay. That's an interesting chat to all sportsmen out there. Game Changer on our television definitely will be support to make you a game changer. Stay tuned, we'll be back with a short commercial break. You're back with the powerhouse, or you can call him the local Iron Man. Today's game changer, Ransilu jayathilake. The international stage, how competitive it is.
It is very much. This was my second world championship in powerlifting. So yeah, you get to see people from all the continents. Especially, I think if you visit my Instagram or Facebook, you can see they are giants.
They're giants.
Though I say I'm born to lift, they were born to lift. But yeah, I managed to get into the seventh place.
Seventh place,
world.
talk about it a bit. Like when it comes to powerlifting, like on your weight category, how much hard it is when it comes to the world championship. You compete in the power, what do you call it?
120, yeah.
The 120 category, which is heavyweight.
Yeah.
So how competitive is that category when it comes to internet? You place seventh and you do a deadlift of 315 kilos.
Yeah.
So that's a big number. But when it comes to the international arena, how competitive it is?
Well, I think on deadlift I became sixth, and 315 even in the world stage, 300 is a big deal. So, but I think from the other disciplines, squat and bench press, I have a lot to improve. So on this world stage, there are no excuses. You can't do a single mistake. So you have to be very highly focused, and you have to be alerted. Like you get only 1 minute to do the lift. In Sri Lanka, we don't get a time range to lift. So once you go there, the equipment is new, the venue is new. So for us, it's a bit hard and it's very competitive.
So how does the preparation to meet these giants out there? How do you prepare? Like you train day and night, or how is your training schedule work?
Yeah, mostly since I'm involved with the corporate environment, I have to do a routine in the morning. So my first workout start in the morning with the cardio, as I have to maintain my weight, and then the
day starts at around 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah. Then straight away I go to work. Then I have the rugby practices, and my training starts around 7 in the evening. So it drags up to like good 3 hours.
2-3 hours. You work out in the gym for like 10 o'clock in the night.
Yep.
So it's not at all easy to bring down more than 30 medals to the nation. It's sheer devotion, dedication and desire, bringing to you a real game changer who conquered the international stage. So how is it to, like, how hard is it to get there? Like we talked about training, like you should have the background and support from maybe sponsors to parents to everyone, like the person who is making your food, to who is the backbone behind you to take you to the international stage.
Yeah, behind my medals there are a lot of people, like my family, my wife, my parents, my sister, At the beginning, everyone was there, like that's the start. Then whenever I go to the market, there are people who offer me free food. Like, I think I'm blessed to be like that. So with all these blessings and with the support from my school, my colleagues, so everyone is there. So I think even they share a part of this medal.
Okay. So nothing is easy to achieve in life. No one brings and offers you it in a tray. You should fight for it. So, what was your sole path towards success? What do you believe that your path towards success is?
Well, success for me is like the other people's blessing. So what I think is in my life, I think if you get the blessings from others, definitely you're going to succeed. There's no way that you can cheat on people, that you can push them down and go up towards climb the ladder. So I think you have to get the blessings from your people around you, especially from family, people around you. So that will push you up. Yeah.
Coming back to the very first medal that you won, the Junior Commonwealth Championship, where rugby team and few players are flying who already flew 2 days ago.
Yeah.
So how excited were you to win it? Like, you're a 17-year-old kid. Like, it'll be a real motivation to all our viewers, to all our youth who is watching this on Facebook, YouTube, or on our television. What is your message? Like, how exciting was it for you to bring down a medal for the first time to the nation?
Yeah, actually, as a national athlete, I think since my daddy is a national athlete, I have seen what he's wearing the blazer, what is all pins, but he never let me wear that. He said, if you want it, you got to earn it. Yeah. So that was my motivation. So it was like when they are taking the measurement for the blazer, like when I had to attend for the press conference, I think it's very emotional.
All right, okay. So, like, we individually have role models in our lives. Who is your role model?
I think in everyone that you should be your role model. It's yourself. So I don't want to compare myself as want to be someone. I want to be me, and I want to be my motivation. So definitely, it's always me. Yeah.
It's always you. So, but someone you benchmark, maybe like who you look up to when you're down. Someone who always be a motivation. Someone like that, or you be your own motivation?
I always be my motivation. There are people that you can watch their videos, but it's always you. When you are down, it's always you.
Yeah. So being your own motivation is the message that you have to give out to the people who are watching you out. So like basically like to look up to when your hard times are there. As you said, there are videos to watch out, but you think to get out the best out of them is a good move?
Well, yeah, I think there can stories, you can be inspired and motivational, but you could adapt to your life and you have to be your own motivation.
Okay. So when you like coming towards your medals, first was the Commonwealth medal, Commonwealth Junior medal when you were 17 years old, back then in 2004. Right after that, you get out of school and come up to the international level again. So this was for weightlifting, right?
Yeah, very first, like I was a weightlifter, but meantime I was doing powerlifting as well.
So the very first medal was for weightlifting?
Weightlifting, yeah.
So you had the Sri Lankan record by then?
Yeah. I broke my first Sri Lankan record at the age of 16.
At the age of 16?
Yeah.
A bit of your school back again, like weightlifting, you had to do it individually, or you had a good team or supporting staff?
We had weightlifting at school, but there were not much lifters. But we had a very rich history in Kingswood College weightlifting. We had an Olympian called Asela Vijay.
Okay.
He was an Olympian for weightlifting.
There's a big weightlifting family coming from Kingswood to Asela Vijay Vikrama to, like, his father introduced weightlifting to the Sri Lanka.
He was like the father of weightlifting.
Father of weightlifting, right? Okay, the Vijay Vikrama family. You trained with them? Or?
Yeah. My coach was my dad, like, but certainly had to involve with rugby practices. Mr. Vijay Vikrama, he was training me.
Yeah. All right. So you and also I saw somewhere that you were recognized with the Kingswood Star Award and the Kingswood Crown.
Yeah, at my school, the Kingswood Crown is the highest award that you can get, right? I think.
When you get all these awards and medals, is this is it does it carry you forward, or like
Obviously, yeah.
what really happens?
Obviously,
How-
yeah, like if it's always for an athlete, it's always felicitation and motivation is a must. So when you being always like felicitated, it's always drive you up. Especially in a sport of like powerlifting and weightlifting, we don't much get recognition through media or the people. So these kind of thing always drives us up.
So coming back to the medals, that was your start, and you were recognized with all these biggest awards. And right after that, what was your next medal?
Soon after that, I took part at the South Asian Games and I won a silver medal. Even at that time, I was only 17 years old.
17 years
Yeah.
old, and you bring down the second medal to Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
All right. Any changes in your weight category or something? Like
No, it was the same weight category, and actually I have won more than 4 South Asian Games for medals for Sri Lanka.
Okay. In talking about the next highest ranked medal, what was it?
And I won the Youth Asian medal in weightlifting, and at the same time I have won a bronze medal in powerlifting, the World Championships.
Before, we are talking about weightlifting and powerlifting both.
Yeah.
But beforehand, can we tell our viewers what weightlifting and powerlifting is all about? When it comes to weightlifting, it's power snatch, it's snatch and clean and jerk. So what is it all about?
Well, weightlifting involves a lot of technique, reflexes, and both of them are like overhead lifts. There are 2 disciplines, snatch and clean and jerk. In powerlifting, you don't get overhead lifts, so there are 3 disciplines like squat, it's basically measure out your lower body strength, and the bench press is measure out your upper body strength, and the deadlift measure up your whole body strength.
So there are 2 categories in powerlifting as well: rough and equipped.
Raw and equipped.
Raw and equipped.
On the raw event, you don't get to wear all these equipment, belts and the bandages, so it's basically pure strength.
So you basically do both.
I do both, yeah.
You both in the sense
The equipped and the raw. Both.
So does all the international athletes do this?
No. Since I was a weightlifter, there was a big advantage when I was getting the powerlifting. There was a big advantage with getting the raw lifting.
Okay.
So I only had to study about the equipped lifting and get the experience. But most of the athletes, they are just concerned about one
thing.
Yeah.
So is it hard to do without equipment? What is all about these equipments in the sense what do you wear?
Equipment, there are support equipments like bandages onto the knees and the elbow guards, so it's risk free. But raw lifting is very risky. So without lifting the proper belt or proper support, it's not. But it measures out your strength.
All right, that's Ransilu Jayathilake joining us today on the Game Changers on our television. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with another interesting segment with this champion. You're watching the Game Changers on our television, lifting 735 kilograms. Here, introducing to you once again Ransilu Jayathilake. 735 is a big number. How do you manage, really, are you surprised to listen to this number? Or you can do more?
I will definitely go for more. My target is to get 800. Probably that will hit me out get me to the podium of World Championships.
We wish you all the very best to hit the 800 kilogram mark and make Sri Lanka proud as always. So, your message. There are a lot of people out there who wants to get into this sport, powerlifting or maybe weightlifting, who maybe rug rides to any other people or someone really fresh. What is your message to them out there? Let's come back to fitness later. What is your message solely who wants to be like you?
Main thing is get the proper directions, like the proper guidance, because powerlifting is a very risky injury, especially like exercises like deadlift. There are a lot of people who have undergone with slip disc, spine damages by doing deadlift. So if you don't know the proper technique, if you're not guided properly, don't do it. Better to stay away. But there are not very recognized trainers in Sri Lanka for powerlifting. There are only few trainers.
In your thought, about your thought, like, does Sri Lanka have all these assets and what do you call them, the resources to start up with powerlifting or weightlifting?
We don't have at all. In Sri Lanka, we don't have proper powerlifting equipment, proper powerlifting stages. Especially if you load a 300 kilo in a normal gym bar, it will definitely break. So if you have to get the proper equipment for Sri Lanka.
You mean in a squat bar you can't put up 300 kilos?
Unless it's a very good bar, it's imported from the country. The local bars will definitely break for 300
So you
kilos.
have only powerlifting can do it only in Colombo?
Yeah, sadly.
Sadly, yes.
Yes.
What is your message to the authorities who are watching this to get this sport? There is a lot of capabilities. When we look into areas like Anuradhapura, Polonnaruwa to Galle to Mathura, around Sri Lanka, there are people who are really strong and who are capable, but they don't know about this sport. For this, what should be the base?
Definitely, when you talk about the other areas, with weightlifting, you get a lot of weightlifters from Polonnaruwa and Anuradhapura area. I think even we have a lot of potential in those areas. Still, we have lifters there for powerlifters, but they need proper guidance. And probably, I'm hoping to get into administration soon after I finish my career.
Perfect. That would be a great push towards the young athletes who are blooming. So I won't let you go without talking about fitness, which will be a really interesting part to all our viewers out there. Fitness is something that everyone is considered these days, like who are very focused on. Everyone who goes to work does some fitness. All the youth are getting used to this. Are they doing fitness the right way, or is it just a fashion?
Mostly it has become a fashion. The younger days, you have to see a kid, he wants to carry a shaker, to buy a supplement bottle and want to post pictures on social media. Even the trainers these days, they just go to YouTube, they download it, translate it, put it into their clients. So I think fitness field is in a big mess, though we see improvement. We see good bodies, but I'm sure most of them are not natural bodies.
Really? That's very sad to hear.
Yeah.
Fitness is something that you should have in your daily routine. Like, what is your message to a fitness startup out there, like to keep himself fit every morning, to go to work? Definitely, when it comes to the corporate world, you need sort of energy. As you are a part of the corporate world, you know how you work and others work. Yeah. So, is it like what's a very basic level that you could keep fit?
Well, I say there you have to work out on your basic 5 movements and keep your diet healthy, and jogging, running, and whatever it is fitness related things are like it's not a come up with day to day work. Like we say you do, I don't know how many times you bend a day. You can bend down and take a pencil. So I think you have to specifically make a time for yourself. It doesn't come on your day. Specifically make a time for yourself and go to the gym, either work out at home.
Work out at home. It doesn't matter where you work out. Yeah. You don't have to spend thousands to get fit, right? So everyone out there should do something to keep your body fit, which will keep your life healthier. That's like something you agree with?
Well, yeah, I think it depends on the capacity of you. I think if you are a banker, you have all the US sitting there, you have to go to work and you go to the gym and work out. Or as if you're like a marketer, you run a lot. I think you got to do a separate routine. So it depends on what caliber you have.
When it comes to food and fitness, like today when you go out on the streets in Colombo, not to offend anyone, yeah, but are we getting the right meals on us?
Sadly not. Sadly, even you buy a fruit, it's not fresh in Sri Lanka. Even as athletes, we have this problem, and the proper food is very expensive. Like we have the sea around, it's an island, but still, if you go to the market and you want to buy fish, it's very expensive. In other countries, these stuff are the materials, the food materials are very cheap. So I think the quality of food is in Sri Lanka is not really good.
Quality of food is not that good. So
Yep.
it is a very, you think that is something key for the drawback of our sports and the other?
Not just of sports, I think. Even if you visit the cancer hospital, you will see what the food has done to us. Definitely.
It affects all the areas almost, sadly.
Even doctor will agree with me on this matter. If you go to the cancer hospital, you will see what the food has done to us.
All right, that's a very strong message out there. Look into your food before you have it. In general, sports in Sri Lanka, are they on the right track?
I think last 2-3 years we are on the right track, but from athlete side and from the administration still we have problems. We have like even the athletes, our athletes are now got used to make complaints. No equipments, no proper nutrition. They're making excuses as well as administration. But I think there's a change with the current sports minister. There's a big change in the sporting field.
Okay, coming back to what we spoke right in the beginning, can we bring these systems where international the other countries do, like international sportsmen who are getting into Olympics, like they mold their self from the beginning, as we said, there are specific institutes for that. Can we adopt that system in Sri Lanka, according to your knowledge?
I think it's possible. I think it's not an impossible thing. I think we can possible. But again, as you said, we have to change the attitude of the parents, and we have to change the attitudes of the society.
It's ridiculous to see that a student who ends up as a doctor studying geography or history in his grade 6, there should be a knowledge, but something related to his career.
Yeah.
It's something not on the right track, according to my knowledge, what I feel. So what's your thought on this?
Again, as I said, like it's all about the attitude of the parents. Always parents want to push their child into be a doctor, be an engineer. So nobody wants to makes their child an athlete. So if we can change this attitude, we can make the passion for sports. I think the Sri Lankan sportsmen are getting, especially the rugby players, cricketers. Obviously, cricket, everybody wants to be a cricketer, like they do a sport. But I think they are doing well in the country, like in the society, they are doing well. They get paid really well. Especially the rugby has come up to a certain standard. I think all the other sports should come up to the same standard.
So, international Olympic medals we won one very long time ago. Where what should be the key? Like with the resources that we have right now, what should be the key message? Like as an international athlete, what is your message out there to school kids to work towards that all alone, like you did? No one supported you at the beginning, as you said, unless it's the loved one around you and the people of Sri Lanka. So, what is your message to those athletes out there?
Well, I think it's always the commitment and discipline. In an athlete's calendar, there are no red dates. There's no New Year, there's no Christmas. Every day is a training day. So you have to be away from your family. Sometimes you get really isolated from the society. You're going to miss your friends, but at the end, when you achieve stuff and you be on the podium and when you hear the national anthem and when you see the national lion flag flying up, everything goes away.
That's the best feeling of all. You have conquered the national arena. You have records under your name. You have reached up to the Asian level, South Asian level, and then the Asian level, and already you have stepped into the international world championship. Yeah. What is your next target?
Well, on September I'll be competing on the Commonwealth Championship in South Africa. So my target is to defend my title. Last time I became the Commonwealth champion back in Canada. So this time I'm hoping
in Vancouver, Canada.
In Vancouver, Canada. So yeah, this time I want to defend my. It's easy to be a champion. It's not easy to remain as a champion. So this time I will get a good fight from the other country, but still I'm sure I can do it.
I see before every event that you keep your national flag on the wall and you do something. What is it something related to a prayer or something like that?
Well, yeah, this flag is always with me. The lion flag always, my lion flag always motivates me. So I think the flag that I carry is always to keep the blessing, gives me the blessings of my people. And before I walk into a competition, there are a lot of messages coming to me through social media. See, I always watch all this, and always I believe that through the lion's flag, I always get strength.
And the people of Sri Lanka,
Sri
for
Lanka,
sure.
definitely.
So it was a really good chat for half an hour's 40 minutes time. So what is your message, final message to the people of Sri Lanka as a champion who will stop at South Africa in September?
Yeah. As a Sri Lankan, I am always happy to be Sri Lankan. So because we are a nation who defeated the terrorism and we defeated tsunami, so we have faced everything, and we have, even recently we have floods, but we know how to handle all the hard parts. We know how to get through the hard times. So that gives me all the strength, and I think Sri Lanka is an amazing country.
It's a beautiful country with lovely 20 million huts. So we wish Ransilu jayathilake all the very best for the future from the Art Television's family. What do you think about the program Game Changers?
Well, especially I love all these questions. Yeah. You don't get to talk about the country, especially when you go to an interview. So especially all this patriotism, everything came up in me with all your questions. Thank you.
Welcome, and that's Game Changers all about. We'll be back with another Game Changer next week. Till then, goodbye.